Morning, everybody. It is April 21st, 2025 at 11 a.m. Even though I just, read that and looked at the clock, I'm like, 11? That can't be right. This is a special session of the Baker County Board of Commissioners, and we are now in session. Dear Father in heaven, thank you for leading us through Passover and Easter. Thank you for all of the families that were able to unite this weekend. Thank you for all the blessings that you've given us. As I always pray, guide our words, our thoughts, and our actions. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agenda changes or adoptions? I don't think we added anything after we posted it, so we're good there. Citizen participation. This is for anything that's not on the agenda. All right, I think we're good there. No minutes to review. Is that correct?
Yep.
Scheduled business. I guess we'll open up contract review board. Road rock crusher bid approval.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You'll see in front of you, I gave you a cost to operate an FT 2650 sheet. I think
Yep.
I'll walk you through that real quick before we get into the bids, because we don't want to shock you with the big numbers before you get to the little numbers. Does that work for everybody?
That works just fine. Thank you.
So this machine is capable and rated from the factory to do 400 ton per hour. And when we figure these numbers, we're going to figure them safe at 325 ton per hour in case you get some rain or some bigger rock that's kind of difficult to work with. If you were to rent this machine, it's $210 an hour plus usually a $12,000 mob-in fee.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives you a month. And you can, if you go over hours, it's a big penalty, whatnot. If you purchase this machine, it would have a lifespan of 25,000 hours.
Okay.
And so it's $600,000, which is just a rough number because we hadn't opened any of the bids yet. That's roughly $24 per hour.
Sure.
What it would cost us to run it on top of fuel and whatnot. So then you drop down to Baker County's cost. It runs at 8 to 10 gallons per hour of fuel, and we pay roughly, right now we have good fuel prices, so it's $2.80. That's going to be a variable. So it's $28 per hour. Your wear parts from the factory, this is what they tell you in a high abrasive rock. This is what your wear parts are going to cost you per hour accumulatively. Obviously, there's some hours it won't cost you that much. Some hours will cost you more. The purchase depreciation is $24. You're going to figure that out per hour. Equipment operator cost is $59.59. That's what it cost me to pay somebody to run the loader, which costs $44 an hour. Total cost $180 an hour. Now our pit run, even though we own the ground and it's in the ground, we didn't haul it from anywhere. We didn't buy it from anybody. We have to, for IRA system, put a dollar amount on it, and that's always been a penny per yard. And if you convert that to cost per ton, it's less than that. So we'll just stick with a penny. So roughly, if you can do 325 tons per hour, that's $3.25 per hour is what you're dumping in the top. So total cost $183.25 per ton of material. I mean, per hour is what's going to cost you if you put 325 tons through it in an hour. If you divide that by the cost, it's going to roughly be 56 cents per ton is what it costs you to make a ton of 3 to 4 inch crushed base. Also, depending on how big a rock you're putting in to begin with, sometimes you're going to get more, sometimes you're going to get less. If we have to blast the pit, you add an extra cost onto that, roughly $1.40. Now that varies also depending on your blaster. So then of course that cost will go up to $1.96. Most of our pits, we dig right out of the bank or we push with a cat. So we're not going to use that number for this simulation because the two pits that I'm thinking of right now, one in Baker Valley and one in Burnt River Canyon, which is for this project, we don't have to blast. So if you were to buy the rock, if we were to make it, it would be 56 cents a ton. If you were to buy it from Triple C or RD Mac, you can see there, Triple C is $15.35. RD Mac is $14.82 per ton. That's not a truckload, that's per ton. Now, these numbers are just a phone call number. We didn't do any official bidding for this. So it can change by a penny or a dollar, all depends.
Sure.
If they know they're gonna be bidding on a huge job, obviously they're gonna give you a better deal. Okay, now down to the project, Clark's Creek project for I think it's 3.5 miles of road. It's gonna take 28,000 tons. That's 3.5 miles, 25 feet wide, roughly 10 inches deep. And you're gonna lose some in areas, you're gonna gain some in areas. So that's just a number that we come up with a slide rule. It's a good number, I think. If we were to purchase rock from Triple C and haul it with our cost, $6.67 per ton to Clark's Creek, that would cost $616,000 to fix that road, which is in dire straits of needing it.
Yeah.
If you were to buy it from Artie Mack, who's a little bit cheaper, that's $601,000. If you were to purchase it from Artie Mack and us haul it with our trucks, which that's going to take you a month to do. We're going to lose a month's worth of prep in Richland or wherever we're working next. If we were to make that rock in our pit in Butler Pit, in Baker Valley, excuse me, it's going to cost $202,000 for us to make it and haul it. That's fuel, that's labor. That's not the grader laying it, because that scenario comes into every single purchase we do, whether it's from them or us. If we were to move to a pit that we have on Burt River Canyon and we were to crush it on site and haul it less than 5 miles, the cost is $48,440 for a project. So this analysis was requested, and it pretty simple. I mean, we could get into the weeds and get way deeper, and we could have a little bit different numbers. This is pretty basic.
What I wanted, thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty basic. So do you guys
So
have any questions on that?
I do have a question. So how much is it gonna cost? Do you have to hire somebody to move that crusher, or can you guys do it with your equipment?
So it will, some of these bids, and I'm gonna touch
Oh,
base on
sorry.
this.
Okay,
I'll touch base on this and then I'll go.
Okay.
To get it here, if we purchase it, one company charges, the other one is part of the purchase price.
Okay.
Now, once we get it here, it measures up to where it could possibly fit on our large lowboy. But if not, there's 2 contractors in town that have lowboys that I've already spoke to that we can rent minimal to jump on, haul it and bring it back.
it
And
still pays.
it still pays. It still
Oh,
pays.
sure.
And if for some reason down the road, if I come across a lowboy that'll move this, that's on gov deals for pennies, you'll be seeing me. But I don't look at buying a lowboy anytime soon, because it'll only be for moving this.
And it's gonna sit for months on end.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. So any other questions on the cost?
Thank you for doing this.
Is this machine rebuildable, like once you get it?
Oh, yeah. Anything's rebuildable. Just depends how much you want to spend to rebuild it.
What degree?
And I can tell you, I looked at a machine in central Idaho that was advertised with less hours, not than this, but than what it actually had 23,000 hours on it. And it was tired. It was not taken care of. There were cracks, things welded together that should probably not have had weld on them. Should have had bolts. So if you take care of it, it'll take care of you. One more thing, we already have an impact crusher, which I've been to 2 sites where they run a jaw in front of the impact and it doubles their production. We'll go from doing roughly 100 ton an hour to 225 ton an hour if this one is dumping rock into that crusher. That crusher in Butler Pit on average gets 12-inch minus dumped in it. You get 100 ton an hour. When you cut that size back, it's going to speed it up. This machine is built to take 20 to 24-inch rocks and just eat them all day long. And it'll come out of there at 4 to 6 inches, dump into the impactor. And this is for road rock. This isn't for crushed base that we need for Clark's Creek. And it'll gobble it up. I mean,
Okay.
it'll be like a 4-year-old at birthday party with cake. Probably just as messy. So
That's putting out a lot of material in kind of a short amount of time.
it is.
Yeah.
And if you guys look at this cost analysis and I made a mistake somewhere, or you share it with another contractor, I made a mistake, have them come see me, because I'll be more than happy to admit if I made a mistake. But most of these numbers come from your head and then you have to put them on paper and then you double check them. So,
Okay.
No, I think it's,
and it seems kind of crazy that we can do it that cheap, but that's kind of how it is, because we are, and I've had to say this a lot, we're a nonprofit. When we buy rock from a company, put it on the ground, it's done.
Right.
It's now got to depreciate out. If a contractor buys rock from RD Mac, they up the price, sell it to somebody else, and they're making money, where we're not doing that.
Thank
So any
you.
more questions on that? We'll jump into the
That's
bids.
great.
So we are looking at 2 different bidders. One is Goodfellow, and they're out of California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, pretty large company. They have a really good working relationship with the factory of these, and these are built in the US, which is really nice. Really, really nice. They were the low bid, And those are the ones that I would suggest that we give a motion and second to the intent to bid, and then we'll have a 5-day waiting period, I believe, for if anybody wants to contest it. Any other bidders contest it, would like to. It comes with everything we needed. They followed it pretty close. It's gonna have a new set of jaws in it. Let's see, here. Got some notes. They'll have a new set of jaws. It has 2,100 hours on it, roughly to 2,200 hours.
Okay.
The subframe that hold the base frame, it holds your jaw system, which takes a pretty good beating. Those are about $60,000 new, and there was a recall on those, and Goodfellows worked with the factory and replaced that, so it's brand new. The guts of this thing's brand new with a brand new set of jaws. So basically, that's all new, and the machine has 2,100, 2,200 hours on the rest of it, which
And that's,
belts
Just
wear
on
out,
the-
bearings wear out, stuff like that, simple.
Yeah. that's driveline hours or power plant hours.
Power plant hours,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. And these Cat engines that are in these, they're rated for 20,000 hours, if you
Sure.
take care of them.
There's quite the difference in price.
So, yeah, there's quite a bit of difference. There's about 2,000, excuse me, there's about 1,600 hours difference.
Mm,
Because the one that came from Modern Machinery, I believe it only has 500 hours on it. Roughly, approximately is what they said. So it's probably only a year old. And it clearly hasn't had any of the recalls done to it because they haven't found anything wrong with it yet, because it's new.
mm.
So all in all, I think make a good decision to go with either one of them. One has less hours, but it is more money, so I prefer to recommend to you guys, we take the lesser bid. Modern Machinery and Goodfellows. And you can have, well, I
I
guess
should
you
say,
can
so you
have,
have three in that.
we killed a few trees today.
Every session. But trees grow back, so.
And we make money off them when they cut them. So cut them.
Yeah,
You guys ready for a motion?
no,
Oh.
I don't have a problem with Goodfellows having more hours, knowing what they've done to it and,
Yeah, I'm fine.
you
I said,
know.
oh, so are you ready for a motion?
Oh, no,
No.
let's keep it on.
Let's
for-
just- let's just be-
Keep the suspense on.
They're gonna need video and some pictures. And can you bring in the sample of the rock, but,
I can head back
Yes,
down.
I
So
am
this is
ready.
in your budget, in your beginning fund balance?
Yep, I've already
Perfect.
counted. If you approve this and it happens, it's already been taken out of the carryover cash.
Okay.
Yep.
You
Okay.
know me, it's all about budget.
Yep, and that's a good thing.
So I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of an FT 2650 track mounted jaw crusher for $574,600 from Goodfellow Corporation.
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
No.
All right, seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye, motion
We should
carries.
have all of our commission meetings
Thank
on
you.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is yes or no. That's all.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
thank you.
Guys.
Is that only?
Oh,
only thing?
next
No,
time we
have
need
one.
Luke up
Yeah,
here
we.
too, so.
It's just them signing stuff.
Come on up.
Uh-huh.
Hello,
Good morning, how are you?
good, how are you?
Good.
We're just asking for your approval to sign for 2 grants that we submitted to Oregon State Weed Board back in December. The Southern Baker County Noxious Weed Control that highlights leafy spurge, all knapweeds and rush skeleton weed, which will be a cost share to our landowners. And then the other one is the Powder River Perennial Pepperweed Project, which will also be a cost share for our landowners in the Baker Valley. So I believe one is 461 acres net herbicide treatment, and then the other one is 125. And they both have local contractors for hire in them, so, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I like it. You're continuing the important work without the levy.
Mhm.
Good job.
I'm trying.
So,
yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding.
yeah, no, I appreciate it. I'm glad.
It's
I
a
mean,
match in kind on these.
Yeah, I believe it's 25% on each of them. I think I went a little overboard on one. But we have match from numerous different sources, USFS, Union Pacific Railroad, ODOT, Union County, Tri-County, list goes on. So, yeah, none of the match except for what we do for the road department on roads with our agreement with them has been considered, but we're being modest with what we put on there. Just, you know. 'Cause we do what, 3,600 miles of road, 3,600 miles of road, two sides,
Yeah, well.
somewhere in there.
2,000. You do a lot of deals and stuff too.
Yeah, I do.
Which in the past, we paid for that too.
What a deal.
We don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So you said a couple of numbers there. The total of the one is 41,094 and then the other
Yeah.
one 18,077.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're asking from Oregon State Weed Board, in their funds to us. And then we do have matching funds from landowners or all the
Okay.
others, which makes the total project cost higher.
Yeah, but this is those two amounts are the actual awards that you're looking for here today.
Yeah.
So do we need two motions or one?
Probably
Two?
two, there's two different grant numbers.
Yeah.
So I can do that. I'll make a motion to approve grant number 2025-38-001C 24143 ODA noxious weed grant agreement with the Weed Department, County Weed Department for $18,077.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And then I will make a motion to approve grant number 2025-38-002C 24148 ODA noxious weed grant agreement with the County Weed Department for the amount of $41,094.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
To streamline things. If you say no, I'll jet. But-
Go ahead, what do you want?
So I would like to ask.
agenda part?
Yeah, yeah, I know. Could you guys approve, we have a 5-day protest period, and after that, then we can purchase it, but could you guys approve Shane to sign out a session for this? Or do
Oh.
you guys want me to come back next session and do the whole thing over?
Yeah, 'cause
Oh, I might as
that'd be
well.
more than 5 days.
Yeah.
It's, all right,
Yeah.
we're not
I'll
until the
move
7th.
For Shane to sign the contract with Goodfellow Corp out of session.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Thank you.
motion carries. Sure thing.
We should have done that in the
Yeah,
first.
I-
Did Luke bring that up from the back? Was he thinking about it?
so-
Okay. No?
That's a good thought.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let me know when it comes in.
Yep.
All right. I will now close contract review board unless anybody has something else. Is that it? All right. Contract review board now closed. Let's talk about the ordinance.
Good morning. This looks awesome.
Well, thank you. I think it's gonna work really good for us.
So I only found a few things.
Oh, jeez. I did not. I was at county college and didn't review it. I looked for the things that I was worried about.
And then I left all my notes and then I had to go through it again. So it actually confirms because I found the same things again this morning. So on, okay, page 1, C, application. I just have a question. Isn't it Fizz Spring? Because there's only one spring and I think all the signage on the signs out there says spring, not plural.
Well, maybe.
I think so. And
That's
I meant to look before I got up here, based on our photos from being out there. There,
Because you have the picture of the.
I do have a
the
picture
sign.
of the sign. Yep, it is spring.
Really?
without an S, because there's
Alright.
only one,
Okay.
and it's one pipe coming out to those two
It's
tanks.
It
Spring.
just sounds weird. Doesn't make
I-
any
know, right? It just sounded weird to me too.
It
But hey,
does.
Here we are.
I
But
guess
it's just,
I guess just go through and see historically what the dang thing's called.
spring.
Oh, if that's, well, if that's what the sign says,
And I've seen it
even
elsewhere.
if the
in-
sign's wrong, we're not paying to change that.
I
so.
think in some of the old stuff that you had too, that you found old documents and things like
Oh,
that,
the
it was spring.
newspaper Articles,
Yeah, it was just one, because I had
Okay.
to stop saying plural. And then when
I
I,
just-
then when I get out there, I'm like, oh, there's just one pipe,
Okay.
one spring.
Good to know.
So that's just the one little minus the S
I
on
will-
Fifth Spring on page 1C.
And I'll fix that all the way through then.
Okay, and then, oh yeah, because it's on B overnight, page 2. Then on page 3, number 6, all off-road vehicles, OHV. If you're going to use OHV as an acronym, then it needs to be all off-highway vehicles is the,
Where are you? I'm sorry. I-
okay,
I
sorry,
beta.
page 3,
Oh, yeah.
number 6.
There
It
we
says
go.
all road, all off-road, it should be all off-highway vehicles, and that's per the OHV acronym. And then same page 9, very next to the last line of number 9, it says, well, the whole sentence is procedures for notice, towing, hearings on validity of towing and disposition of vehicles with B in compliance.
With
Should
B.
probably be will be,
It's not.
but I like with B.
I would be with me.
I like that.
I with be with it or I with be without it. So I think that's all that oh, no, wait, there is other, okay. On 7, page 7. This is just for, just clarification, I guess, or to think about. On page 7N, general, number 2, all fees, permits, occupancy, and we talked about the fee schedules and stuff like that. It talks about that. It made me think back to our last session when we were discussing this, and we said, what would the fee be? And we've already established a fee schedule for the parks, and so there'd just be donation and everything. To stay in compliance with the ordinance, does that need to be adjusted for vendors for a day use or overnight camping fee plus donation? Because it says in
Well, we're
here
just
that
gonna
if
do
you're
the
using,
donation the 1 year.
yeah, we just said there would just be donation on the 1 year because we were already through the fee schedule. And so, but then in this, it also says that, you know, it talks about the fees, but then it also, there's other day use and, you know, how you have to use, if you're out there using the park, you have to use day use or the overnight.
Right.
And so why not do, I mean, it's just $5, but I mean, it's, I think if they're out there and they're using it, then they should at least be paying the fee that coincides with their use of the park, plus donation.
I think we can get away with that too, because it says in here that you pay for the amenities at the site you're parked at,
Yes.
and they'll be parked at a site most likely with water and electricity, which is $25 a night.
Yes.
I think probably just write this.
See what
And
I'm
not just- Oh, I see
saying?
what you're saying.
Or they may not be.
By the time this gets posted,
But-
because this is gonna be, we're what, 2 months out? A month
Yeah,
out?
That's what. or
So by the
more.
end of May, July, we do the new fees, right? July, we do
When,
fees.
when do
June.
we do the fee schedule?
Usually in July, so part of that is to wait until legislative session is over in case anything comes from that. And then
Mhm.
departments have a chance to
Mhm.
Okay,
look and review and then bring it.
okay.
So,
So right now, it would just be, they would actually should be charged then whatever fee if they're using day use or overnight, if they're coming in as a vendor until we get that fee schedule set up in July.
Because they would just be there.
Oh,
for, like
that's what
their
I
use.
thought. That
That's
was,
actually, that's not a bad idea, $5 for days.
No, for right now, and then
Oh,
see how
I
it
see.
I
goes.
see,
Oh, so we're still in compliance with.
Because right now,
Yeah.
our last discussion was,
scrap
oh,
the
let's just
donation
say
part.
by donation. Well,
Okay.
actually, it wouldn't be because we've got this in place
that's
for any
true.
use of the park.
So we would just, we would
Scrap the
just make
donation
it.
piece
Yeah.
and just go with, yeah. I'm
Just
with
go
that.
with-
And then, so
And
when we
then we
write
can-
this, it'll be ready to.
And
Yeah,
then when we do the fee schedule, we can say vendor fee would be, and we can change it at that time.
that amount, yes.
We can
Yep.
see, we can see what the reaction is during the month of June.
Absolutely.
May and
No, I
June.
think that's a great idea.
So I just wanted to clarify
I
that.
think, good point.
Okay. And until it's, so it'd just be the regular fee for those vendors until then. And then, on that same page, in general number 7, operating a boat for hire or guide service from a Baker County park is prohibited
Yeah.
without prior written approval of the Parks Department. Now, and it says see vendors section, kind of the same thing. So with those though, we know that there is some companies that are running out of the park, and you know, it's kind of random whether they are just doing a day fee or they're doing an annual pass or whatever, but they're not, some of them are not coming forward and saying, we're running out of Holcomb Ramp or Hewitt for our business and utilizing it. They're not doing that.
Right.
So in this, I wonder what is I mean, this ordinance you would think would be the teeth behind that if you did have a company that was running their guide service out of there and you said, hey, you know, you're running out of the park. We do have it in the ordinance. What would be the teeth behind it to say, you know, what would that fee be? What would it look like? Or is it just permission? Or would it be like you have to buy an annual pass in order? Or is it
So-
beyond an annual pass?
In the
Because you're
parks
making
that I worked in, of course, this was all the way up, you know, federal parks, but only a couple concessionaires got the approval to operate in the park, whether it was boat stuff or whether you used the put in, or if it was overland stuff. The permits to come in and sell fishing lures and all of that, I think it's fine to go through the parks, you know, who, you know, however we do that. But I think we need to have, if you're operating a business, like a guide service out of the park, it needs to go through commission. Everything else is fine, but we should work on this a little more. I was thinking about that too, because
Mhm.
if you're advertising day trips.
Out of
and-
Hewitt
and the-
Park
Out of
ramp.
Hewitt Park, and we're putting in at the county park, then you need to get a concessionaire's approval and.
I guess I think that it would fall under this, and then our fee schedule say it's $100. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't
Or
know.
renewal
you know,
every
What
year,
is
but then,
it, what is it per year on an annual?
The $45 for an annual pass.
But I think, but that's just,
but
But
if
that's
you're,
just
that's not, that's
anybody.
not
That's just the
commercial.
user, not commercial.
Yeah,
No,
so I
yeah,
think
but
if it's
I
a
think
we
commercial guy,
yeah, then I
Need
want,
something for the commercial guides.
A
And we know
one-time
we
thing.
have them
yeah,
coming in.
and I want it to state, you have to show that you've got your guide license, that you've got,
Mhm.
that
They
would be the
have
Parks
to.
Department.
Which it could
All
be,
of
it
them.
wouldn't have to necessarily come to the commission, I don't think.
I don't think so.
If they had all of that, it'd just be like them looking at a vendor or something like that. Do you have
right, but
Your-
we
You don't look at
may,
the same as for
permitting-
but we
fair.
may have to go out like RFP. Anybody that wants to do this work,
Why?
No,
Mm-mm.
no. It's a little bit different because they're using the park. They're not, I guess I would say it would be different than,
but you have to make it fair.
Your contract, I mean, if it's not a contract with the county, then you don't use.
It's
the public
not.
Contracting.
No.
it's not a
They're just-
contract with the
They're
county.
just contracting to use they just
The
want to be able to
facility.
use the facility.
They're permitted, not
They're
even
permitted, yes,
contracted.
that's
They're
better.
permitted. So there is no contract. So
If-
yes.
If we did allow, so even if we didn't go out for RFP to say, okay, you know, it's first of the year, whoever wants to operate out of the park needs to put in their application to do this, I would still rather see that section come to the county commission.
I can't see a reason for it and I can't see
That's
an
what we
RFP
That's what we
thing.
paid Donnie
This
for.
is just people running their businesses and saying, hey, we want to base out of Hewitt and Holcomb for launching and
Your ordinance is going to approve it or
and
not.
the ordinance is going to approve it or not. The park is going to ask for the documents that are needed. And I don't see any reason to make it harder for the people who have those businesses to, have to come in and approve, when it should be just through the parks.
Well, I'm always in communication with our insurance too. And OSMB to make sure, Oregon State Marine Board to make sure they know what's going on and those people are licensed appropriately through them also.
Because I like to look at it fair. You guys don't look at every vendor, one that's going to do it at the fair. You don't look at that. You look at anything that's over
No.
$5,000.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost us whatever.
Yeah.
You don't, the city doesn't look at
Right,
everyone,
but
the
it's-
chamber, that the chamber does for Miners Jubilee.
Yeah, because it's not a contract, it's a permit and it's a fee that we're charging for them to use the facilities for offloading and loading for their business and they're basing out of. So I
Just where
see an
the
annual
liability
fee.
is higher, I think it should come through the,
Well, no, they would have to prove to the parks their insurance
insurance and their
and,
permit.
And I actually get those from their insurance companies, the pages that say this is what they have, and make sure that our name's on there is a
so I think we're
whatever. we are.
Covered on
Additional
that.
insured, additional
you.
insured.
yeah.
Thank you. Help me.
Yeah, I think we're covered on, I just wanted to, is there an annual fee right now? What do you do with any of them? Are there people that come in and say, I am operating out of here, because when we closed, the one guy said, I've been operating my guide service out of here for 20 years,
I know.
and I thought, oh.
So we do need to decide on a fee, and I would make it for those guide services and for those
So
other
that- I was gonna
people
say-
that are sneaking in.
I think you're gonna need to give us a recommendation on a
Back to
vendor
the-
fee and a guide service.
Back to the fee,
Go back to the fee schedule, so-
schedule
When we
in
get
July.
there,
When-
just before July.
and there needs to
okay.
be language in the ordinance of what's expected for someone running a concessionaires out of.
Well, and I think, does it in the C vendor section, does it cover for the guide services already?
I don't think it goes very specific, like as far as,
And I can
insurance.
redo it specifically for
Yeah.
guide service, absolutely, I
yeah,
can do
because
that.
there's modern language. that
So it
we-
says the applicant shall be responsible for ensuring all activities associated with the vending event are operating in compliance with this ordinance, state and federal laws. And I would just put and include all applicable insurance and permits or something like that.
Right, because in, number 3, no business or person shall be a vendor in the county unless permit has been issued to such a business or person by the Parks Department under the provisions of this article. So, I mean, there's a few things going to, but it just doesn't say, absolute for the,
We don't want to make it difficult.
No,
for
we
them, and I think that that's why we have a parks director, so that
Well, and they're already shy, I'm gonna say shy, about coming
Leery.
forward to, leery about coming to tell us because they're afraid that we're gonna knock them back, and that's not my intent, but I do need to know if they're gonna be
because they're parking.
providing their service
They've got to be
through our-
legal
through
to
our
do it.
parks, yeah,
They've got to have,
so.
yeah,
they've got to
there's,
have updated safety equipment. They've got to have insurance. They've got to have their, medical requirement.
yeah, I know that there's one just very, very small out of that area and who knows, how they're set up. I mean, I think it's pretty
Yeah.
loose.
If we make it 2, they're gonna say that it's not a business, that it's personal.
And that's,
Mhm.
yeah,
I mean, I can see a couple of them doing
Mhm.
that.
Well, and then that's on them.
Even
and
when
then
they, I don't know,
it's on them.
$100 maybe for the whole year.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's-
I'm just throwing that out there.
No, that's what I kind of thought, and I talked to other people about we were talking about the other vendors' fees being $35 without electricity and $50 with, and everybody seemed to be really cool with it. They
Yeah.
thought that was so awesome.
They like the idea of the
They
vendors.
Like
Okay.
that idea, they're all over it.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I am good with this. Add in the people that we were just talking about.
The guide
guide
service.
The guide
Guide
service.
I had a couple things, it's not, I know we went back and forth on this, but and I wasn't thinking about the back of the ordinance. We put in Bid Spring, or is it Bishop Spring or Bishop Springs?
I
Um,
have no idea on
I
that.
don't know if Bishop is one or
There's no
two.
sign on it.
Right. So however many springs we
Runs one-
have,
Down one draw.
instead of saying 14 consecutive days in the ordinance, we should probably pull that out to where, what if something happened up there, we wanted to cut it to 10 or 5 or 7, you know,
Well, we were just
because
trying to go along with what the
Mhm,
Forest
with the
Service
Forest
does.
I know.
So that
but-
it's not
but the
longer.
The Forest Service could change it. But then in the back of the ordinance, it says by order of the commission, so we could come in and just state an orders that Fit Springs is only day use now because of fire. Or
Yeah, but usually in fire, you have those special things anyway, where, you know, I mean, the
You're
jurisdiction
evacuated,
over the
yeah.
fire
Right, but
has.
this is like, you're prescribing it by law, and then in the back, you're going, there's a thing that says from dusk till dawn, and then is Bishop Spring locked at night?
No,
Oh, gosh,
it's,
no, Bishop Springs is available
So you say,
24/7.
in Bishop Spring Rest Area, the public is welcome in these locations from dawn until dusk,
Right,
Because
except for
they-
that one.
Because they can't, and I've seen people pull up their campers and they have picnics and stuff and whatnot.
I've
But
hunted
then
out
they
of there.
can't spend overnight there, but people come in and out all night. We do have that
Right,
camera now.
but that's what I mean. You're saying that someone at 9 o'clock can't stop and use the restroom.
They can't camp overnight.
They can't
Yeah,
camp
sp-
overnight.
Spend the night. No overnighting.
But
And yeah, we do get a lot of after dark users.
the public is welcome in these locations from dawn until dusk, which means from dawn till dusk, the public is not welcome.
Where are you seeing it? Because
It's
I'm
number
looking
C, page 2C at the last sentence.
to see, the public is welcome is from dawn until dusk. Oh, that's true on Bishop though. I mean, yeah, they
Yeah.
could stop at any time and use the restroom.
I mean, I've had a headlamp a couple of times working in the area. So,
I see what you're saying.
yeah,
I don't think that there's anything wrong with the 14 days because then you don't have anybody staying on there longer than that.
but in the back, you can post, it says that we can do an order and post anything we want.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you put the fee schedule in the ordinance, then it's prescribed in the ordinance and you have to change the ordinance.
I wasn't talking about putting the fees here. I was talking about the fee schedule.
But it's the same if you put the days. If you say is limited to 14 days, then someone can say, well, in the ordinance, it says 14 days, but now you're wanting to cut it back by special order. If you just left that out or just said
We have,
number of consecutive days shall be determined by order of,
we have 21 days on the parks too, because
Yeah.
that's how it's always been. 'Cause we don't.
but that would allow, if you change that as well, you could do it every year by an order or until an order was changed by necessity in one meeting, instead of going back and changing the ordinance. And then you would just post online and at the facilities what the,
I guess I'm lost.
I think we need to let them know how, in an ordinance, how many days they can stay there. And if they-
but you can,
And then if you guys change your mind, we can post it after that. That's how I've always read that.
So I'm thinking if there's extenuating circumstances, that would be the only time with fire or whatever. That's the only time you're going to change
Right.
that, correct?
Or if we were in there redoing the riparian and the fencing and the tanks that we need to do, but we would
just
be
close
in
it at
there.
that time. You would close it at that
Well,
time.
and it's not really like it's
Yeah.
open or closed. It's just kind of a
There.
pull in and stay area.
right, but if you
Um,
wanted to reduce the number of days, it's already in the ordinance, but if you didn't have it written in the ordinance and you just did it,
Well, it's the same thing as what you have for queue and pull permits.
At
21 days.
21. at 21.
But if you wanted to change that without changing the ordinance,
I don't think we want to change
I
that.
don't-
I don't think we want to change that.
I think that that's.
If we're gonna change that, we'd want it to.
The one thing that is valid is when you said public is welcome at these locations from dawn until
Yeah.
dusk.
Bishop Springs,
And Bishop Spring would be the one, and then if we,
But no. which is-
at the Wayside, if eventually we get grant funding for a vault toilet there, then that would be a second one that people would be stopping in and looking for information and using the toilet.
right, but then in the back here, you have, for the purpose of determining applicable fees, day use is considered to be from 7 AM to 8 PM before or after those hours are deemed camping, and the camping fee will be charged.
But that's a fee, that's the
Right.
fee areas,
But
not
that's
this,
what I'm
it's just
saying.
general area.
One area you're talking about from dusk till dawn. and
Because
back
it's a
here-
fee. Because it's a fee specifically. That's why she's talking about those hours. And then these dawn till dusk is not a fee area. That's why she has this particular hours in the fee time because of any, like if you check into a hotel or anything else, if you're not within those hours, when you're paying that fee, then that's gonna determine
Well, and
whether you owe
that,
or not.
that was kind of brought on by, the folks that want to come in and fish after dark, and they set up their tent and they sleep all night in their tent in the grass, the same as a camper. But they say, well, I'm just fishing. And so that's why I had to put that in there, is to
Ah.
clarify that day use is literally daylight hours.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So if you put, if you take Bishop Springs out of that, and put the public is welcome in these locations from dawn until dusk, and then put Bishop Springs rest area,
or just add any area because of the wigwam and the
Oh, yeah.
wayside
if there's gonna be.
potential,
Yeah,
you know, any
just
areas,
put
you could just
overnight.
add any,
Yeah.
any of the areas with a,
county rest area.
Right, but on page
Vault
7,
toilets.
in general, a person shall observe and abide by all instructions, warning, restrictions, and prohibitions on posted signs and notices and from park staff. All fees, permits, and occupancy or time limits issued by the Parks Department authorizing use of a county park or any of its areas or facilities shall be in accordance with schedules posted and or adopted from time to time by order of the Baker County Board of Commissioners. If the Board of Commissioners does not establish a fee annually, then the fee schedule from the previous year shall continue to be in effect. Fees are required within the park boundaries and blah, blah, blah. But if you're going to say time of use and the fees are going to be decided by the Board of Commission, then you shouldn't, then you either need to change this language or you should just get rid of the days. Because in the first section, it's prescribing the actual number of days. And over here, it says we can change it by an order.
that's also with the fee schedule again. That's also with the all fees. It's also with the fee schedule.
Well, it's all in-
With that whole paragraph,
But it's not just
but that whole,
limited to the fee.
but that whole paragraph that you, I mean, it's just, it's geared towards the fee schedule.
Kim, what do you think?
Well, let's not put Kim on the line right now. I mean, if this needs to,
Well, it still needs to go to the Parks Board for one thing, but
yes, but at this point, I guess if at any time that our council needs to look at this before,
I'll give you a couple of like conceptual thoughts, right? The ordinance is intended to give the public some level of notice, right? On what's gonna be expected of them when they go to the park. Putting in a 14-day, it's not uncommon to have a set number of days,
Sure.
right? And then if by order, if there was some circumstance where you needed to, on a case-by-case basis, change what was happening at the park. I mean, I don't have a great example, but what comes to mind is like if there was a wildfire and a bunch of people were displaced and they needed a place to go. and they were gonna go out there and he didn't know 14 days was gonna be enough. Well, then by order of the court, you could decide, or of the commission, you could decide that you're gonna suspend that part of the ordinance, okay? So that is a circumstance where 14 days, you put it in there, then you don't have to revisit it every year, you just say, okay, that's what we're working with, unless there's some kind of
Yeah.
bigger issue. One thing to think about though, and I wanted to bring this up when it comes to the to Fizz Springs, and if you do this for Bishop Springs, is it's a pretty short list of way you're gonna regulate that. It's pretty much just how many nights, and then giving the public information about it being a dry camp, pack all of your garbage out, bring all of your water in and all that. Is there anything else that you need to regulate about those particular overnight camping spots? Do you want them to have a permit? Do you need them to check in? How are you going to tell if 14 days have passed? Is there regular checking on those spaces?
There is no spaces.
Or
Ye-
space as in like
Yeah,
area? Does anybody
Yeah.
check those areas?
yeah.
Anyway, just things to think about because there's so very little, like regulation or limitation on how people can use those areas. And one of the reason we put, if I remember correctly, we had a conversation about, putting some kind of time limitation on day use, right? So those places that are not overnight camping. So if you don't have any limitation on day use, then there's no, say law enforcement needs to go out and say this person can't camp here. If there isn't any limitation in here, then you're gonna have a hard time
Right.
explaining to someone why they can't just stay. Dawn until dusk then changes with the seasons. Because, 7 in the morning, in June looks different than 7 in the morning in November.
Yeah.
Right.
So it allows for some flexibility there. And use of a restroom, when it might be 9 PM and somebody's driving through, highly unlikely you're gonna get law enforcement action because somebody has used the restroom after hours.
Yes.
So I'll just say,
Okay.
Right.
that's my 2 cents. I don't see it being a big problem saying dawn until dusk. It's probably not posted out there, if it's dark, don't use this restroom.
Right, yeah.
And good luck getting people to adhere to that if they live in the restroom.
Exactly.
So-
If they really need a restroom, they're gonna use it.
Right. yeah.
So
I would rather them use that than
Right, that's
Than the
right.
back-
I would-
back
I would
of it
rather
like they were.
Still did, yeah.
So, and then Fifth Spring was knocked out of the rest of the all other parks due to the fact that, when it says dawn to dusk, we know that people camp there. I did last fall, after the fires. We went up after a post-fire meeting and we stayed on the lower part of it on the riverside because we have on this side of the road, we have the spring and then the lower side goes to the river. And then actually across the river, it goes up the hillside. But there is already an established little fire ring and everything. So we pulled down there. And so that's why I told Donnie, I said, I think that on Fifth Spring, we don't have to make a whole bunch of regulations on it because we know that from satellite that we've seen tents and things like that, that people have gone in there and camped and there's proof, but there's not a problem. There isn't any checking in. It's in the middle of the Wallowa Whitman forest. We're surrounded by forest. So to not make it difficult if people want to stay there and then realize that they're not on forest, you wouldn't know that you're not on forest when you get up there unless you go up to Fizz and actually read the sign that's on the fence that's barely standing anymore on that. So that's why I like seeing this. I'm not opposed to the 14 days. And then I think just saying remove all your garbage and human, because we haven't had a problem with any of that yet.
We
And we
haven't.
just want to make sure that people adhere to that.
But the only thing I was saying was like, if the Forest Service changes the 14-day rule to something
That's
and you
down
wanted
the-
to stay
yeah.
parity with it, it would be easier to change it in an order than changing the
ordinance once it's.
I think we could even leave it at 14 days, no matter what the forest does, because we could still keep it. It doesn't say that we have to change it just because the Forest Service changes it.
That was just a
We
day,
are
we just-
okay with the county
Yeah.
staying at 14. So I don't think that that's a problem. And yeah, after what the council just said, I don't think that we need to add, anything to the C overnight camping, all other parks with toilets, because yes, people are gonna come in and go, and it just says, this states that they can't camp there. And this is where on the camping ordinance that we just did for the county, that we said the parks are already covered,
Right.
on
So
their
now this one's
separate
covered, and that's because
It
when
has
was
been.
written,
Yeah.
and you couldn't camp there, and so.
at
how are we
Fizz,
go-
yeah.
And so how are you gonna just, this way we know it's covered? and-
Yeah, that's why it's separated out. So I really don't see a problem with any of that, just the first things that I mentioned, and then,
I got them circled and highlighted and
just the two things for fee schedule in July.
And that goes on, so that's a whole separate
Yep,
issue.
yep.
And yeah,
Uh-huh.
we'll deal with that. And if you want that to take effect, once you approve it in July, we can sure do that. You
Yep.
know, we can do
Mhm.
an emergency.
In the meantime, just charge them the 5 and the 25.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right,
I
that's
guess,
what
And I'm
I
just
thought.
thinking even maybe for this year, they just,
yeah.
I want to,
For
I
the
want to build
season.
it up.
because by the time we get it approved, that season's probably gonna be close to being over anyway,
Yeah.
right?
Probably, yeah, because once we get into August, it gets mighty warm down there.
So
Alrighty.
next step, after you just make a few of the corrections and things, send it to the Parks Board, ask them to review it. We need any input from them as the new Parks Board, just to try to roll them in. And actually, it wouldn't be bad if we could get a meeting. I know that it's kind of, strange times. I don't know how many are gonna be down there for the Wigwam cleaning day. But it'd be nice to have an actual just first meeting, and here's your ordinance, this is your first thing, and get them working on it. So that we can bring it back and we can finalize it through public hearing.
And we could probably, maybe shoot for a meeting first part of May.
Yes.
I mean, unfortunately, that's kind of
No,
where
no,
I
that
am
should
in
be
my
all right.
schedule too.
No, and
Yeah.
that would be fine. We have an ordinance in place right
If we
now.
have
This
to
is
read it
just changing it up.
twice.
We have to read it twice. So I think, yeah, if we can schedule it for the first, and probably here in town, just as a central location for this first one, and then have them, give them that as their first task.
I think that's a good idea. We could do that.
Okay.
Anything else then fee wise or, okay,
Not that I
I'll
have.
get it fixed and sent out to you guys, to Heidi and to Kim.
Okay. Thank you.
And just so the rest of you know, I've already told Christina, good news from the Marine Board. On the 14th of May, Janine will be traveling down here to boat out to see where our second floater will be going.
Oh, okay.
Sweet.
And it'll be fairly within a mile to mile and a half of the park for the non-motorized people, so they don't have to paddle out 7 miles and then try to paddle in. So.
Kim, thank you.
Congratulations for us for that.
So did we need to do something in our budget for that?
Nope, not yet.
Not
We're
yet,
just,
okay. We're just discussing it. Okay.
And then in June, she's sending their Marine Board surveyors to start our upgrade to be totally ADA compliant,
Yes.
Nice.
right?
It's exciting.
Yep, it's all good stuff.
Little
Happy you're doing a
bit
second.
exciting.
And then tell them about the power poles.
The power poles go in Wednesday, so we'll have power, we'll have the lights down for Hewitt Park
Nice.
again.
Nice.
We
Trees.
do,
Those have to come in after power poles first.
First,
and
okay.
then-
and then the trees. Our Holcomb pump is running continually. It's not cycling. For those that have pumps, you know what, that is your utility bill. The water coming out of the Holcomb well right now is so hot, you can't hold the jar in your hand when I'm doing water
We got a
tests.
hot spring.
We have a hot spring. I don't know, we're
So
gonna
can we put a
try.
hot tub in?
Yeah, but,
Yeah, but just think of all that orange. Now look in your mind's eye and see those little Oompa Loompas in the first,
to get out of
You
the
know?
orange water.
I'm
No.
just saying,
I was kidding.
I said you'd have to have a bleach bin that you would run yourself.
so
But-
just be aware I have them coming out to look at that pump on Wednesday.
There
and,
is, yeah, there is
We may
potential.
have further problems besides just the pump.
So,
I mean, I
yeah,
hope not, but here we are.
yeah. And I said, well, how are you gonna irrigate? And well, by the time it flies through the air and hits the trees or the lawn or
It'll
something,
be down
hopefully
to
it's
80
cooled
degrees.
down.
You know, when it rains, when it's hot, it's.
Yeah. When it starts steaming in July, we know we really have.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day off, right? That's supposed to be your day
Yeah.
off.
It is my day off. Yep.
Okay. And we have NREC next Monday.
No, we have budget next Monday, ma'am.
Who has budget? No, we don't.
Don't we?
Mm-mm.
I thought it came out. we had
Budget's not
budget
till.
End of May.
May.
April.
No,
Thank you. That
No.
makes
It's
me
May
feel-
27th. Not
Yeah, that's-
not
that's
April,
the way
it's
it
May.
Much better than.
I was thinking
going-
of Monday and I thought, well, you're gonna have to.
I'm not ready for Monday.
Be there. I know.
Michelle, we need a Monday.
I'm looking here.
So,
It's May 28th. and
we do
29th.
have it on our calendar and Vic was moved to
Oh,
May as well from next week.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Well, we want to go into executive session.
Sure.
Do we
Means
want
we'll
to
have
break
to kick
first?
Craig out.
Do we want a 5 minute before we go in?
Have a good day, Craig. What's that?
You want 5 minutes before we go in?
Nope.
Okay.
Get it done.
All right.
Almost noon and we said 11:30.
I guess we're running a little bit behind. We will go into executive session per ORS 192 or dot 660 to consider the employment of a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual agent. The commissioners will return to regular session immediately following executive session. Well, that's probably past 11:45, so say
Approximately,
12:15. 12:25. I don't need that.
Yeah, there's only one ORS system. For you to read. Your time isn't over.
I know, but I need the,
Oh, do you need this?
yeah, thank you.
Coming
I
back
can't
in?
remember the representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state in the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision will be made in this executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room. All right, we will now return to open session and invite members of the public back into the room.
Are you ready?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I would like I would like to make a motion to authorize Chair Alderson to make an offer for the executive assistant position to the top ranked candidate or to the next two down if necessary.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay,
All right, documents to be signed?
no,
No?
Yeah.
What do we have? I do, don't I?
Or, noodles stuff. I think we all have to sign.
yeah,
Some
at
of
that
those we have to
point,
also-
and
Okay.
then any
Well, I'll get to that.
revocation?
No, not
No
since,
financial
No.
reports.
not since last week.
Okay,
I don't think we need to do
updates or anything like
updates
that.
or we haven't done anything.
County
since we
College
saw
was
each
really
other.
good. It was on Health and Human Services.
Did you go to
And
the
I
same
did.
hospital?
I did. All of a sudden, and we hadn't even just walked in the museum and she says, who's from Baker County?
Oh, good.
Jeff and I are going. And so immediately went into that room and started doing that. And then I told him that you got a copy of the Life magazine.
Yeah.
And then she was pretty excited. about that.
Yeah,
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 Anyway, it's there's a lot of history there. I want to do it again.
boy,
I mean, it was short, but we didn't get to go through the whole hospital
Right.
Yeah,
because the feds were there that day because
oh,
of what's going on.
we didn't get
But
to go
she
through the
planned
whole
on taking
thing.
us to some of it or whatever,
Mm.
and
I've requested that singularly if I'm over there, that I get to see
now
more of
you
it.
have to be more of a group. And
There's-
so,
there's a couple things. You know, were the daughters there?
yes,
Okay,
they're the ones that did it.
So just to think that they grew up there and that the people that babysat them and that were family were the people that were
Yeah.
there. The second thing that's so great is that I realized there is how oppressed women were. I mean, because for
Oh.
any reason, a husband would just take them in there and
Hear
go,
that?
she's crazy. And then the third thing is, that, did you see the chamber with all the ashes of the ones that
Yeah.
were not claimed?
We did.
Because that was like a last minute type deal. We only got a few seconds. in
So
there.
they did a section was, it was the star thing.
Yeah.
And the guy that did it was a patient.
Oh.
And now he's coming back and he's working under 15 years.
Oh.
And so the nurses had been there for a long time. And then the marketing director worked with her and talked with her for a long time. And it was just,
Yeah.
it was pretty phenomenal. So I also didn't realize that if we, as a county, commit someone, we
Mm,
pay that bill.
yeah.
It's like $1,800 a
We
month a
gotta
day.
go.
We have
Do
to
you
pay
have
that
to?
bill. If we commit or if Matt commits somebody
Mm.
Oh,
for insanity, we have to pay that bill. I went, okay, didn't know that. I said, wonder where that's at in the budget. And it might come
Mm.
through new directions through that, because I don't know, because it'd be a mental health issue, so it might come through new directions. So,
Oh, that would make sense.
yeah, I was thinking about this as they were talking about that. So one other thing,
Okay.
just to note, really quick, I sent something to Mr. Gloria about, it's a veteran suicide thing.
Uh-huh.
And so I sent it to him and pain management type thing. So he said he was gonna go to that. So,
Okay, good.
Yeah, it was really good, but the first day was really dry.
Yeah.
It was really dry.
Yeah.
And then I've asked Heidi to put on in July, when we do our publication of record, to have Hell's Canyon Journal. Because Noodle did that with the rock crusher bid. He
Uh-huh.
put it in the Hell's Canyon Journal. Just because East Oakland, it's hard to get into and it's so expensive.
And a lot of people are dropping off readership
Mhm.
in our
and Hell's
county.
Canyon is picking up.
Hell's Canyon is picking up.
So
And-
anyway, so I just added a note to Heidi to have her do that. So I just wanted to let you guys know that.
It was in that ethics class for meetings that I questioned because he said that there was a question in there of whether you have to do that. You have to say that this is our news of record area. It was a discussion that went on in ours saying, wait a second. And I told him, I said, well, we designate who is it. And he goes, you do like that. And he said, no, you don't. It's because I said, we specifically have to say who it is. And he said, no, you don't.
I don't think that's right.
Anyway, I think we ought just to cover our basis and just include East Oakland and Hell's Canyon Journal and
As-
whichever one we can get in.
Right.
Because you can, if you get it in on Monday, if you get it on Monday, it'll come out in Hell's Canyon Journal.
Because it sounded like
Otherwise,
we
it's
could designate our website that we put on to,
can't.
you know,
Paper
not,
World has done that.
yeah,
they were
to
able
where
to
we
do that.
didn't have to do like a specific paper, I guess is, and he just,
Also, the radio
Yeah.
station is getting their stuff where they can be public too.
Right.
I'm wondering if it's specific to certain things. So like the tax office for foreclosures, they
Mhm.
also
Have to do-
designate a paper of record
Yeah.
for their
Yep.
stuff.
In your
I
budget.
know for like when we have public hearings, like, public like the ordinances, for example.
Yeah.
I almost think, I can't quite remember, but I almost think you have to designate a paper of record, so then people know where your public notice
Yep,
is
yep,
specific, but
yep.
if it's just like, fair
Just a
board
meeting.
meeting, or just regular meetings or whatever, committee meetings, I think it's just notice.
Yeah, and
So
you can
which
do
we
those
do
on
on
your
our
website,
website.
and you can do
Yeah.
those on your website.
So we
Okay,
have
so
those,
it's
that's
not
why we
per-
added that committee calendar, so then everybody can
Mhm.
see all the committee meetings coming up, and then of course the board commissioners, and
Yeah.
we blast those out too. so.
okay, okay,
But
so
then
that's the difference. That's the
think-
difference between just a general meeting of a committee
Yeah.
compared to
Like your budget.
budget
Yeah,
or
the budgets
public
and
hearings. Public hearings would be different.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
I think when they require specific notice, for a particular thing, then I think. we can
Yeah.
Research it some more too.
well, and that may be the difference that you don't, that the committees don't have to go to a particular, yeah, if they just use the calendar. Okay, and my big meeting, the only change in mine is the big meeting was moved from next week to May, because they're gearing up for public meetings now.
So there was there's a deadline due for ARPA money. Christina's on that. The NACO stuff we got today. And there's in there about HHS money getting cut.
Okay.
So.
And
we're on it.
HHS person is gonna be here. Wait, who's gonna be here on Thursday?
Oh,
Um,
I've got
What's her name?
Kripaserpa.
Serpana.
From
Very
Wyden's office.
right.
So,
And so council's gonna be in there to report on the hospital stuff, because I looked, I thought, well, no, that would be
Okay.
you, but you're gonna be out of town on Thursday, so.
I might be back. So what's on Thursday?
Kripa Serpana from Wyden's office is just coming in.
Oh, okay. All right.
Talk with me.
It's not a town hall.
No.
It's not- Oh,
No,
okay,
but it's
okay.
about the hospital,
Okay.
is why, Kim, council had said that she was going to be in there. She had requested being in there.
Okay.
And I know that you're overseeing
Okay.
that, and,
Is Tony gonna be there?
They're meeting with Tony.
Okay, good. Then I'm not.
okay,
Kim and Tony are involved. I'm fine.
okay,
Because they'll keep me posted.
okay. She mentioned it this morning, and
Right, but
yeah, I'll
I've been,
definitely be
I've been
traveling
working with
back.
Wyden's office for, 2 years.
I know,
now.
but she's also overseeing the hospital issue now, so that's why I want to make sure that you know about it, that you're with that group and everything, so.
We actually use that as our example of convening.
Okay,
That was the example we used of our work table. So,
okay,
All right,
honey, I didn't mean today. Didn't mean for you to do that today.
Oh. I try and get some work done while
She's
you
so
guys are
fast.
talking.
I put in there, I even in the, I thought, no hurry. I move to
All
adjourn.
right. Got a motion
Stack
to
up,
adjourn?
I don't keep-
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Yay.